Today I'm giving you 10 weapons that you need to have leveled up before the Warzone integration in December. Now before we jump into the 10 guns, make sure you are aware of the new best method to use to level up your weapons. Previously was the exfil method in zombies, but that was nerfed. And by the way, you can do multiplayer in war mode, but zombies is still the easiest and quickest way to level up your guns. Now we're going to go into zombies and look for an Outlast contract. Once you grab the Outlast contract, you have to go into this little zone area here and activate the PND. This is going to spawn in a bunch of zombies and hellhounds for you, but here's the most important part. You are going to let this progress bar get to about 50% and then leave the zone. What that's going to do is the progress bar is going to go down, but there is no expiration timer on the contract. So now for the next 30 to 40 minutes, you have an unlimited amount of zombies and hellhounds spawning in that you can easily kill for the XP. You should be able to level up your gun anywhere between like 10 and 20 levels per round. Now starting off with one of the biggest changes coming back to Warzone with the integration, which is one-shot snipers. Yes, one-shot snipers are officially coming back, so we do want to make sure that we have the snipers leveled up. There are 3 in total. I'm giving you 2 that you absolutely want to have. The first one is the KV inhibitor. This is a really good all-around sniper option. It's got a good damage profile, it's got good range, it's got good mobility, it's got good fire rate. It's just a really good all-around sniper that you can use whether you're playing smaller maps like Vondo and Ashika or bigger map, which is going to be Urzikstan. Now, the second one that you want to have leveled up depends on the game mode that you play. If you are going to be playing big map, Urzikstan, you want to have the Cat AMR leveled up. This is your 50 cal. This thing hits really hard. It's got good range, but the mobility on it is really bad. So this is going to be great for those slower engagements that you find yourself in on big map in traditional BR. Now, if you play Vondo and Ashika, focus on the longbow, which by the way, Vondo and Ashika are going to be available on launch, so we can play Resurgence day 1, but you want to focus on the longbow. This is your mobile sniper right here. It's got good mobility. It doesn't have the most range, obviously. The fire rate's a little bit slower, but in terms of that mobility, we can kind of run and gun with this sniper a little bit more. Now, going into ARs, one of the biggest things with ARs, there are 6 in total. You want to try to get these all leveled up. Same thing with SMGs, which we're talking about later, because you never know what they're going to do. But here are the 3 that you absolutely want to have leveled up. The first is going to be the MCW. Once again, this is your good all-around option, and sometimes that's what we are looking for. Good damage profile, good range, good mobility, good recoil control, just really good at everything. Then we go to the Holger here, which obviously has more damage and better range than the MCW. Obviously, a little bit less fire rate. This thing has already been banned in the CDL. It's already been GA'd because of how good it is and how easy it is to actually use. So Holger 556, absolutely make sure you have this leveled up. Then we have the MTZ. We got a little bit better fire rate than the MCW, a little bit more mobility. Kind of reminds me of something maybe like the M13. Again, a really good all-around option here that we're going to be able to use. On the fringe, which I would absolutely say you should try to get leveled up, is the SVA 545. This is kind of like all around better than the MCW, but it is tougher to use just because the first 2 rounds fire at the same time, but you've got to be able to hit your shots with it. SVA 545, good all-around option, so definitely try to make sure you get this leveled as well. The other 2 ARs are the DG58 and the FR 556. Both of those are going to be burst weapons, so could they be meta? Yes, they could be meta. If it is meta early on, you take 20 minutes to level it up, but don't necessarily hyper focus on getting those 2 leveled up unless you have the time. Now, next up here, we go to the BAS-B, which is a battle rifle. Don't forget, the Cronin Squall battle rifle was meta for months in Warzone 2, so we can't sleep on these battle rifles. BAS-B right now is just one of the best guns in MW3 all the way around, so definitely make sure you have the BAS-B leveled up. We also have the Sidewinder here, which is significantly worse than the BAS-B, and once again, we see the MTZ 762. All 3 of these are fully automatic, but right now, the BAS-B is hands down the best option that you can go with. Now, moving on here, we're going to LMGs. LMGs are kind of a crapshoot. I think that you definitely want to have the Bruin leveled up. It is a fan favorite LMG that's been in Warzone for a very long time. We saw it obviously in Warzone 1 on Verdansk. We had the Bruin meta. Definitely make sure you have the Bruin leveled up. The Holger 26 here we see obviously has incredible mobility, but let's think about that. If we're looking for a good mobile, long range option, we're probably going with ARs. We've got the DG58 here with once again has a little bit better mobility. And then we do have the Pull-em Yacht. This is another one that's right on that fringe, so definitely focus on the Bruin here, but if you do have a little bit extra time, this has a slower fire rate, has more damage. This is your PKM from Warzone 1, which is really fun to use. I don't like making this, but I'm gonna look shotguns at some point. You know, every single year Activision breaks a shotgun. We have 3 options here. We've got the Lockwood 680, which is your pump shotgun. The pump shotguns have never really been a good option in Warzone just because of that fire rate, makes it a little bit tougher to use. We do have the Riveter here, which is fully automatic. So again, this is the fringe one that I would say you probably want to get this leveled up just in case they decide to make the fully automatic shotgun broken. But right here we have the Haymaker. This thing really good all the way around. It is a tap, so you basically tap it every single time, but this thing just hits very hard in close quarters. So make sure you have the Haymaker leveled up. 22 levels, pretty easy to get leveled in zombies. Now next up here we are going to SMGs. Once again, the SMGs are going to be a little bit tougher. We have a bunch we have got a ton of SMGs to choose from, but we do have a bunch of MW3 SMGs here that we can choose from. Try to get them all leveled if you can. The 2 that I would really focus on, I chose the Rival 9. It's got really good mobility all the way around. The strafe speed and the mobility on this thing is insane. So once we build it out with like a scope, you know, a little bit of recoil control and then increase strafe speed, you're going to be able to really strafe, really make you a tough target to hit. And don't forget, on controller, strafing increases aim assist, so we'll be able to take advantage of that. Then from there, we do have the Striker. The way I look at the Striker here, both the Striker and the Striker 9, so try to get those both leveled. But the way I look at the Strikers, every single year, you know that they have an SMG that is their favorite. Generally, it is the MP5 or the Lockman sub, where it's just meta and it's good the entire year. They just want to keep it in the mix. It's everybody's favorite, and everybody always goes back to it. What is that gun going to be this year? I think it's going to be the Striker. Go ahead and get the Striker leveled up. But like I said, the WSP class here, we got the Swarm and the 9 is not a bad option. Some of these do have a little bit, like that has a slower fire rate. That's got a really fast fire rate, which means it's going to be a little bit tougher to use when it comes to mag size. And then we have the AMR 9. Biggest thing with the AMR 9 that we see right here is just slow mobility. So overall, those are the 10 weapons that I think you really want to have leveled up. We've got the KV inhibitor. We got obviously the Cat AMR or the longbow, depending on the map that you play. We have the MCW, the Holger 556, the Bass B, the MTZ 556, but just remember the SVA 545 if you can get to it. We've got the Bruin MK9, the Haymaker, the Rival 9, and the Striker. I hope you found today's video helpful. As I always say, make sure you are subscribed down below for the best Warzone loadouts.